Hey foodies, welcome to the channel. Today we're making the best pepperoni pizza at home. We're gonna be using some red stripe beer instead of using water. This recipe, it's an advanced recipe. It takes 45 minutes to make. You're gonna love it. Let's go over the ingredients. Guys, if you end up liking this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is the best pizza recipe you'll ever need. Alright guys, so we'll go over the ingredients right now. Don't worry about the measurement because I'm going to leave all of that down in the description box down below. So the first thing you want to do, we want to start off with some all-purpose flour. You can always use bread flour for your own purposes, but for this recipe I'm going to be using some all-purpose flour. Alright, so now that we have the flour down, we're going to add some salt. And we're using about a teaspoon of salt, and then we're going to be using a tablespoon of all-purpose instant yeast. We'll have the sugar, and we're using brown sugar, of course. You can use the white sugar, but preferably, I like how brown sugar make it taste, so I'm using the brown sugar. So once we have all of the dry ingredients, we're just going to go ahead and sieve this together to combine everything. We'll have some beer. This is the red stripe beer. It's a Jamaican beer. You can use a light beer if you choose, but instead of using water, we're going to be using some beer. And this beer, we make it room temperature. So we put it in the microwave and we heat it up just a little bit so that it removes some of the coolness. So we're going to go ahead now, create a well on the inside. Then we're going to be pouring in our beer. Then we're just going to combine everything until the dough starts to form. We're going to mix this for about 2 to 3 minutes until everything is good. Don't worry about if it's too soft. We can always add a little bit more flour so that the dough gets blended well. So we're just going to let this knead for about 2 minutes. Add some more flour if the dough is a little bit too sticky. So we're going to knead this. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. That's the beauty about homemade pizza. You can just mix it up at home instead of buying the store-bought one. Your kids will love it. Plus, the person who you're cooking this for, they're gonna love it because you put the time and effort for them to make this recipe. So the dough is complete now. We're gonna let this sit for about half an hour until the dough starts to rise. We're gonna put this in a warm place. I have the oven heated already, so I turn it off now. So I'm just gonna place this in the oven and let it raise. A little bit sticky. Pour some flour on this. Now I'm gonna let this sit for about half an hour. Then we're gonna roll out the dough. Take my gloves off. I'm gonna put this away. Alright, so now that we have the dough ready, we take it out now, so we're gonna work with it. And you can see the dough start to become stretchy. Before you start to roll the dough, add some flour to the board so that it doesn't stick. So we cut the dough in half. We're just going to use our hand and stretch the dough a little bit. So you want to use as much flour as you can so that the dough don't tear. You just use your hand and push it out, basically. You can use a rolling pin, but we're not using a rolling pin today. So we'll transfer the dough onto a baking sheet. Make sure the dough is nice and round. You use a fork to prick the dough so that the dough don't really get oversized. By oversized, I mean that the air is going to rise inside of it and it's going to swell up too much. Alright, so we have some tomato sauce. We're going to just go ahead, add the tomato sauce. And this is all up to you. You put the amount of tomato sauce where you want to put. You can use the store-bought tomato sauce. You can use the one from the can. It don't really matter. Or you can make your own homemade tomato sauce. You want to bring the sauce close to the edge, but you want to leave a little bit so that your hand can hold the pizza. Alright. So we have the tomato sauce, so we're going to add some mozzarella cheese now. You can add as much cheese as you want, be as generous as you like. We're adding some mozzarella cheese. Then we're going to lay down the pepperoni. And again, you can replace the pepperoni with chicken. You can add any topping you want. Chicken, pineapple, ham. So we use some pepperoni right here. So we use some vegan pepperoni. And then we add some olive oil. This is just going to add some additional flavor to it. So we're adding some olive oil. We already have the oven hot. So guess what? We're going to put this in the oven and we're going to let it bake until the cheese starts to melt. So let's get this in the oven. So you want to bake this at a high temperature until the cheese starts to melt. We bake this for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Guys, if you end up liking the video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check the description box down below where I have the full recipe. Until the next time, stay good.